Okay, so just for the sake of recording, I just want to welcome you all again to the IMBO webinar for pharmacies and hospitals. And I'm now going to hand over to Colin McNamee, who will take you through the outline and several slides. I'll join you at the end. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Leonie, and good evening, everybody. As Leonie said, my name is Colin McNamee. I'm the Operations Manager for IMBO. So over the course of the next, I hope 30, maximum 40 minutes this evening, I'm going to talk about a number of things. Firstly, progress since Use and Learn ended on the 30th of May. So as you know, we came out of our stabilization phase or Use and Learn on the 30th of May, 2022. We're then going to talk really, which is the bit of the webinar that we feel is the most important, which is just a discussion about the alert causes that are in pharmacies and hospitals. So what's actually causing alerts in pharmacies and hospitals at the moment, so that we can try and mitigate that and prevent those alerts from happening in order to essentially keep alerts down, keep alerts out of your dispensaries so that you don't have to manage or handle alerts at all. When you do get an alert, we're just going to talk again a little bit about alert investigation and how best to actually handle and manage the alert when it happens, using two particular tools, our alert help pages and our alert management system, NMVS Alerts. I'll then kind of do a quick wrap up of a number of other issues that are relevant to users of the system, particularly pharmacies and hospitals. Hand over to Leonie for a quick conclusion, and then we'll stop the recording and are very, very happy to answer any questions that you might have. Just with regard to questions and answers, if you do have questions, we'll keep them till the very end. And what we do is, if you can just pop them into the Q&A function on the webinar. If you don't see that, just pop them into the chat. And we'll, like I said, we deal with them at the end. There are some backup slides. We will circulate these slides. There's backup slides with a glossary, just some further deeper information into the different types of alerts and exceptions that can occur within the IMVS, how to access information using an operation code or an opcode, and also a summary of the IMVO alert management guidance, which is the guidance that we use to manage alerts. But what we've done is we've broken that down and designed our alert help pages to actually use the alert management guidance for end users without end users having to go and refer and read that document on a regular basis. So to talk about progress since Use and Learn ended on the 30th of May, 2022. So as I said, that was the end of our stabilization phase. And to be honest, pharmacy and hospital engagement with IMVO has really increased significantly over the course of the last couple of months. Our scanning rate has increased. We're up to about 1.7 million transactions per week. Not exactly where we want it to be, but certainly far higher than it was before the end of Learn. And we know that with some more work, we will get to a total scanning level per week that is required. And the other thing is that the alert rate has reduced. Our end user rate is approximately 0.05% of total transactions, which means one alert in about every 2,000 scans or transactions that's taking place, which is the target that we set out to achieve when FMD process and the IMVO and IMVS was established some years ago. Scan rates, like I said, you can see a sharp increase from a peak of about 1.5 million up until middle of the year, up until the end of May. And then you can see that it has made a large increase, and we're now higher than 1.7 million scans per week. The dips that you see and those exceptions are largely reflect bank holidays, where there would be a far less number of scans on a particular day during the week when there is a bank holiday in that week. So how often did pharmacies, so we can see there's over 1.7 million scans going on every week. How often did pharmacies get alerts during last month, during September 2022? So when you look at this chart, what it says is essentially 50% of pharmacies had one or fewer alerts during the month of September 2022. 40% of pharmacies had no alerts whatsoever. That goes up, so 60% also had one or fewer alerts during the time period. 70% of pharmacies had two or fewer alerts during the time period. 80% had 3 or fewer, and 90% of pharmacies had 5 alerts or fewer during this time period. So the bottom line with that is that during the month of September, 90% of pharmacies had just over 1 a week maximum in terms of the alerts that they actually had to manage and handle. You can see there on the chart, of our just over 1,800 pharmacies that we have registered on the IMVS, you can see 800 pharmacies got no alerts during the month of September. Just shy of 400, I think it was 398, got 1 alert during the month of September. And you can see that tapers all the way down to the point once we get to about 5 alerts, we're well up into the 90th percentile. And what you see to the right-hand side of that graph are the real outliers. So those big high numbers would be single pharmacies who might have had a very significant issue with their software, or an alert spike associated with some form of error in the dispensary, which caused or generated that alert spike. So that's the amount of alerts. What I now want to talk briefly about is the alert causes in pharmacy. So what's actually causing the alerts, and how can we assist hospitals and pharmacies to rule out those alerts? So the first one is a product code not known exception. So I guess the first thing to say is this isn't actually an alert. It's an exception associated with the fact that the product is not recognized by the IMVS. What causes that? The pack is a non-FMD pack. For example, it's a medical device or an over-the-counter medication, but it has been scanned because it happens to have a 2D barcode on it. Or the linear barcode or QR code was scanned, and the scanner will actually pick up on anything that it sees that represents a barcode of any shape or form. Or the pack scanned was an unlicensed medication that did have a 2D barcode sourced from outside the EU. We would have seen that at the very start of the introduction of the COVID vaccines, where they came from outside the EU, but they were equipped with the 2D barcode that can be scanned. And that will actually just send back an exception that says the product code isn't known. How do you avoid that? You avoid them by avoid scanning 2D barcodes on medical devices and OTC packs, as they'll always generate product code not known exceptions, as will scanning linear barcodes and QR codes. What is important to note, particularly when it comes to managing alerts, that these are exceptions. They are not level 5 alerts that identify the risk of falsification. They're not notified to us in the IMVO, and they will not appear in NMVS alerts when it comes to actually managing those alerts. I mentioned exempt medicinal products, or ULMs, from outside the EU. You are probably aware, and we have messaged since the end of Use and Learn, about how to handle exempt medicinal products, or ULMs, with 2D barcodes on the pack. That's because we know, particularly with the advent of Brexit, we see a lot of packs coming in that are fully equipped with the FMD 2D barcode infrastructure, but that data may not actually reside within the IMVS. So our advice, and this is advice that we've gone back and forth with extensively, particularly with the HPRA and the PSI, and it's been agreed that if you know the pack is an unlicensed medicine, don't scan it, as the IMVS may not recognize the pack. If you inadvertently scan a ULM and you do get an alert, you may still just continue to supply that pack unless you've overriding concerns that a falsified medicine is involved, or you believe that the pack has been interfered with, or the pack is flagged as expired, recalled, withdrawn, stolen, or destroyed, which will be the type of message or alert message that would come back to you within your FMD software. However, do always check the anti-tampering device if there is one on the pack. If you've any reason to believe the pack has been interfered with, please report this to the HPRA as a product quality defect and do not supply the pack. Double decommissioning. So this is where a pack has been scanned twice in your pharmacy or hospital pharmacy or dispensary. And we see 2 real reasons for this. And again, these slides are based on what we have seen over the course of the last couple of months. The most common double decommissions reflect the same pack being scanned multiple times, where for whatever reason, that pack is ending up in a cycle or in a system where it is being placed by a user within the dispensary in a location where it is being scanned on more than one occasion. And our recommendation is that you update your dispensary procedures in order to prevent this. What we see is probably the most common double decommissioning, where the pack has been decommissioned in the same pharmacy on multiple occasions, is bulk or split packs. And the important thing there is that they should only be scanned when they're opened for the first time. Feedback from a lot of pharmacists would suggest that when they do open a bulk or split pack, they'll actually take out a Sharpie and they'll put some form of a mark close to the FMD barcode, just to reflect the fact that this pack is a bulk or split pack. It will be visited repeatedly in order to draw medication from it. However, it has been decommissioned, and it should only be decommissioned when scanned, as I said, for the first time. The other type of decommissioning that we see are where packs can be decommissioned at different locations. So what that means is when you in your pharmacy go to decommission the pack, when that scan is sent into the IMVS, it knows this pack has been decommissioned already, but it has been decommissioned at a location different than where the attempt to decommission it to supply is taking place at this time. Couple of things that we see. Borrowings. So borrowings are a very common cause of the alerts associated with packs being decommissioned at different locations. If you're borrowing a pack from another pharmacy or hospital, they may have decommissioned that pack already. So if a pack is decommissioned in more than one location, like I said, it will generate an alert in the second location that's going to require you to take action. So what do you do? If you're lending a pack to another pharmacy or hospital and you know it's been decommissioned, include a note to indicate this. Put a little post-it note to say this pack has already been decommissioned. So what that means is when you receive the pack from a pharmacy or hospital, if you know, because there's a post-it on it, you don't have to take any further FMD action. That pack has come from a source that you can identify, and they have told you it's been decommissioned, therefore don't scan it again. If you don't know it's been decommissioned, so there is no note on it, and you're not sure whether it is in an active or decommissioned state, carry out a verification scan in your FMD software to confirm the status of the pack. So like I said, as a reminder, if you're lending the pack and you know it's been decommissioned, tell the people who you're giving it to that it is in a decommissioned state. If you're receiving the pack and you don't know if it's been decommissioned or not, carry out a verification scan in verification mode on your FMD software. And that'll tell you very simply, yes, it's active, or no, in fact, it has already been decommissioned. And if it's already been decommissioned and you're satisfied that all other aspects associated with the pack, the anti-tamper device, etc., are fully intact, you know the source of the pack, then there's no issue with you not having to scan that pack any further, and you can supply the pack as required to the patient. Other issues that we see causing alerts associated with the pack being decommissioned at different locations. Sometimes wholesaler procedures can cause alerts at end user level. So alerts can be caused by errors made by wholesalers. For example, they've mistakenly associated your location as an Article 23 location, where packs would be decommissioned by the wholesaler before they went to that Article 23 location, who don't have to decommission their own stock. When you get those type of alerts, there may not be a simple or obvious solution available to you as the end user trying to resolve the alert. And what we would say is INVO will work to assist in identifying the root cause. So if you have those type of alerts where it has been decommissioned at a different location and you're unable to identify a root cause, that's where you can put a message into NMVS alerts to say, I haven't been able to identify a root cause. And INVO will see that you've put that information into NMVS alerts, and we will assist in attempting to identify the root cause. And we would regularly engage directly with wholesalers on behalf of pharmacies and hospitals in order to bottom out those alerts and establish exactly what error, if any, has been made by a wholesaler. The other thing, and this has crept in the last couple of weeks, as obviously the amount of vaccines that are moving in the system has increased, National cold chain service vaccines will usually be decommissioned prior to delivery. So if those vaccines are coming in to your pharmacy or hospital, what we would say is look for a sticker stating that they are decommissioned. Generally speaking, we see National Cold Chain Service will place a sticker on the box to say that they have been decommissioned. Alternatively, if you're unsure, you can obviously confirm with the source of the vaccine, or indeed you can conduct a verification scan in order to establish whether or not, in fact, they have been decommissioned. But certainly our experience would be the National Cold Chain Service delivered vaccines are decommissioned already, and they will come equipped with a sticker to say so. Other different types of alerts that we've seen in the last couple of months, decommission is destroyed. So actually using the destroy functionality in your FMD software. The greatest error we see on these is where bulk or split packs are reaching their expiry date. You only need to decommission to destroy a pack that's in an active state and has not expired. So basically, if that pack, and like I said, if it's a bulk or split pack, it should have been decommissioned for supply the first time that pack was opened. If you go to try and destroy that now, that pack is already in a decommissioned state, so you will get an alert. Additionally, if a pack has gone through its expiry date, the system automatically effectively decommissions that pack because it has expired. So that too will, your attempt to destroy that pack will automatically generate an exception or alert because you have tried to change the status of a pack that has already expired within the system. So the most important thing, if you do want to use the destroy function in your FMD software, you're only doing it for pack that's in an active state, so no other form of decommissioning has taken place, and that pack has not gone through its expiry date. Other, and these are alerts that do occur in small numbers, is where we see attempts to decommission as sample alerts. These are only to be used when the sample is requested by the PSI or the HPRA. And our experience of assisting pharmacies in managing these alerts is that the important thing is to check that you're in the right FMD software setting. So you're decommissioning to dispense or supply a pack. You're not by error in decommission to sample or decommission to destroy a pack. With regard to software, scanner, and data issues, scanner and software issues are largely under control, and that's what we see over the course of the last couple of months. There's great stability across the IMVS system, and equally there's great stability across the FMD software providers who are supplying FMD software into pharmacies, community pharmacies, and hospitals. What is very important is that you keep your FMD software updated. As the IMVS gets updated, and the next update to the IMVS will be later on in the middle of this month. Sometimes there's a requirement for the FMD software provider to push out a software update to the software that you're using. So we would strongly recommend that you always ensure that your FMD software is fully up to date. The other thing that we see that can impact on scanner and software issues is if you update your computer software or even the firewall or security software associated with the device or the computer that you're using, or indeed if you install some form of new hardware, particularly if you install a scanner, this can cause problems, sometimes leading to alerts. And if those type of problems pop up, contact your software provider. So what we would say again is, if at any stage something has changed associated with your computer software or hardware, and you see an uptick in alerts happening at your location, chances are it could be something to do with that change. Contact your software provider. They should be in a position to assist you. If not, contact ourselves in IMVO, and where we can assist, we will of course assist. The other thing then just to talk about is MAH data uploads. So we are finding that our marketing authorization holders, or MAHs, are very good at ensuring that the data is uploaded. However, on a rare occasion, the data associated with the pack that may be in your dispensary may not reside within the system. The main way of us ensuring that that doesn't happen is actually the work that our primary wholesalers do, because when they scan a sample of incoming batches, that reduces the alerts further down the supply chain by identifying missing data. So it is important to note that wholesalers aren't required to scan every pack. However, if they scan a sample, so they scan one pack and a pallet that's coming through their supply chain process, and they identify the fact that the data isn't in the system, what that does is that actually allows them identify the problem associated with potentially hundreds or thousands of packs. So as a result, one person working on those packs and identifying an alert on those packs allows them prevent hundreds of alerts being pushed down further in the supply chain and impacting directly on pharmacies and hospitals. The other thing is that we contact MAHs when data issues are identified at pharmacy level, and our marketing authorization holders are very responsive to upload that data to ensure that those alerts no longer take place. So talk then about when we have an alert, how are alerts investigated? So pharmacies and hospitals are end users in this instance, and MAHs, as I said, are marketing authorization holders. They initiate simultaneous investigations of alerts generated in the pharmacy or hospital. Pharmacy or hospital should look for things we've spoken about already, procedural errors like we've decommissioned the pack twice. And if that happens, that error can be documented, the pack can be supplied so long as there's no other reason to suspect it's falsified. Or technical issues again, where the alert relates to a data mismatch, and we'll try and sort that out with the MAH, and procedural error has been ruled out. Once that has been fixed, you can verify that pack again, and if successful, you can supply that pack. So if the issue is with your scanner or software, and you can resolve that scanner or software problem, you can conduct a verification scan on that pack, and if it's successful, again, scan it to supply, and that pack can be supplied straight away. In parallel to that investigation that's taking place at pharmacy or hospital level, the MAH is looking for data issues. So they know that there's an alert, and they know that they may be checking to ensure that all aspects of the data associated with that pack, particularly the batch and serial number, do reside fully within the IMVS database. And as a result, there's no issue in the system going and looking for it. The one thing we will remind you as end users is that MAHs aren't required to investigate certain alert types. So we've recognized certain alerts within the system that the root cause is generally at the end user side. So MAHs won't investigate those alerts unless we, or for example, the PSI or the HPRA actually request that the MAH investigate those alerts. So how will you know what the issue is? So again, go back to the alert and the alert message that's generated in your FMD software. It'll give you a high-level summary of what's happened. So it'll tell you in a couple of words that there is an alert. And it will also provide a link to an alert help page on the IMVO website to assist you in identifying a root cause of the alert and provide you guidance how to fix it. And I'm going to walk through a very quick example of how those alert help pages operate in a moment. But the most important thing is, if it's an alert that needs to be investigated, it will come with a unique alert ID, usually starting with the letters IE to reflect that that alert has occurred within the Irish market. Sometimes, though, you'll see alerts from other markets where the data doesn't actually sit in the Irish market. It might sit in the Maltese system, or the French system. So it could be MT for Malta, F or for France. But the important thing is that unique alert ID is what will allow you identify the alert if you're going into NMVS alerts, but it's also what we will use if you can't identify that alert. It's the identifier that you have to share with us in order to ensure that we can actually find that alert and assist as quickly as possible. The other thing that we look at is we're on the constant lookout, and we have business systems developed in order to trigger alerts for us if there's a lot of alerts or a spike in alerts by product, by batch, or for example, in an end user location. And we'll always contact you or the MAH or the FMD software provider to take action to prevent further alerts. So if we see a spike in alerts going on in a particular pharmacy or hospital, that'll flag to us in almost real time. And in almost real time, we'll do our best to reach out and contact you directly, be it by phone or email, in order to try and establish what's going on and stop what's going on, in order to ensure that those alerts are being dealt with in as timely a manner as we possibly can. So the next steps then, if there's no feedback, so if we don't get feedback from the end user or the MAH within 2 working days, we have to step in and ensure the alert is being investigated, if not already done. And at the moment, we do that by sending a reminder email to the end user or MAH to say that there has been an alert and we would ask you to provide us with some degree of feedback. If the end user or MAH does not provide the required assistance or information to enable investigation to be completed, IMBO is required to escalate this to the PSI or HPRA as appropriate. Obviously, as we've come out of Use and Learn, our priority is that everybody gets comfortable with using and learning how to use the system. So to date, we haven't had to escalate to the PSI or HPRA if required. What we want to do is actually work with end users to assist them in identifying the root cause. So we'll go back and forth with further emails or reminders in an effort to try and ensure that the alerts are being investigated and managed. So just very briefly, if you do get an alert and you get that link within your FMD software, it will bring you directly to our alert help pages on our website. And what does that look like? Basically, this is an example of pack marked as supplied. So it will give you some very quick information that you'll see here on the left-hand side of the screen to say the pack has already been marked as supplied. And all it's going to do is ask you a series of yes/no questions. These yes/no questions have been designed to take our alert management guidance and put them into the most simple means of identifying, is there a risk of falsification for this pack? If there's not, can we get this pack back into supply or saleable stock as quickly as we possibly can? So you go through a series of yes/no questions. And in this instance, I've said, was it decommissioned on my behalf by a wholesaler pharmacy? No. Have I previously decommissioned this pack? Yes, actually, we've scanned this for supply twice within our own dispensary. And the message that comes back after that series of 2 clicks of a yes and a no says they should only be decommissioned once, including bulk or split packs, as I said. If you're certain that you made a procedural error, please document the root cause of that alert in NMVS alerts, and you can return the pack to saleable stock. Again, here's another example where you've borrowed it, you know it's borrowed, you know that you've contacted, or you can confirm that that pack, that the people you borrowed it from had decommissioned it. Again, you can identify and record the root cause in NMVS alerts and get that pack back to saleable stock. In this final example, where you actually you don't know. So you don't know, has someone else decommissioned it on your behalf? You haven't decommissioned it at your own location, and it's not a borrowed pack. In this instance, we can't, as an end user, identify the root cause of this alert. You need to set the pack aside, contact IMVO for support with this alert. And this pack shouldn't be placed back into saleable stock until the alert investigation is complete and falsification can be ruled or has been ruled out. So please document the source of this pack within NMVS alerts. So what that alert help does is it gets you to the point where if the ability to investigate and identify the root cause lies at the end user, the alert help, because it's designed to get you very specifically to the type of alert that you're experienced with this particular pack, it'll get you to the point that you can get it back to saleable stock, or there's an issue with it, and that pack is just going to have to be set aside, contact IMVO, and we will assist in identifying the root cause and establishing what to do next. So I spoke about NMVS alerts and how we use that tool to record and communicate about our alerts. Just on this slide, because we will be sending out these slides, there is a link here to the IMVO guide to using NMVS alerts, which is a video on YouTube that we recorded as a simple step-by-step guide to using NMVS alerts. What does it do? And for those of you who are familiar with it, you know it facilitates efficient handling of alerts by allowing end users, MAHs, and ourselves in IMVO to quickly communicate with each other about an alert while preserving end user anonymity, because we are required under no circumstances without the permission of an end user will we provide any details associated with an end user to an MAH. But the other thing it does is allows you maintain a record of your own actions or findings for each alert, which is a very useful backup as a record of a decision that has been taken in a dispensary when you decide to supply that pack. And it does always maintain a recorded log effectively of the decisions that have been made. It also allows you easily upload a pack photo to NMVS alerts if the MAH has asked for one. How do you access it? There's two ways. Set up an account, and for you to set up an account, you just email alert.support@imvo.ie to register. End users and MAHs have the option to create an account for free. What does that do? It allows you to log in and see a list of all your alerts and manage all your alerts at a time and place that is convenient for you. And obviously it also allows you to report any information that you have to add about a particular alert. And over the course of the last couple of months, we now have over 200 end users who are registered for full accounts in NMVS alerts. We have some of our wholesaler colleagues using it, but we have a considerable amount of community pharmacies and hospital pharmacies actually setting up accounts in order to allow them manage their alerts as they require. The second way is that you access it via an email link. So when a level 5 alert is generated in your FMD software, you will get an automated email with a link to the alert record. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like in the next slide. So you don't have to have an account in NMVS alerts to get that link. And it may be used to report information about the alert, send a photograph. That link is live or valid for 7 days. It's a temporary link associated only with the particular alert. So it's valid, like I say, for 7 days or until such time as you have saved or changed something associated with that alert. So that's what the email notification that you receive after an alert is generated. It will come from the IMVO. You'll see just at the top of the screen, and it'll just say that there is an alert status change, that an alert was raised at your location. And this is what the email looks like. Dear colleague, the alert, and this is that alert ID that I spoke about, it was raised at your location. Please investigate the alert and document your findings. If you need assistance on what to do next, please go to the alert management page on IMVO's website. So we have a further step-by-step guide within our alert management page on our own website if you don't know what to do next. But essentially, like I said, the temporary link is here, so you would just click here and that will bring you straight into NMVS alerts and to that specific alert. Alternatively, if you have an account, you can just log into the NMVS alerts to view all your FMD alerts and you can see there in this instance, because this is drawn from a test environment, ABC Pharmacy in Dublin, but it will say the name of your pharmacy when you receive that email. This is what the page looks like. And I'm just going to click further into the end user. So when you click into the end user section within NMVS alerts, this is what you're going to see. On the left-hand side of the screen, just to go in, is further details. So you see the error code and the message. This is the type of alert it is. So this is a pack already dispensed. So this is one of these double decommissioning alerts that I spoke about, where it's either been dispensed twice in your own pharmacy, or it's been dispensed, an attempt to dispense in your pharmacy, but it's already been dispensed at another location. When it happened, the time it occurred, the product name, the product code, serial number, and other details associated with the batch ID, the expiry date, etc. The location ID, this location is the code for your location, because like I say, we don't put the name of your location in NMVS alerts in order to ensure that that anonymity between yourself and the MAH is maintained. So when it comes to you recording your part of the alert investigation, this is the box that you will engage with. And very, very simply, you have the ability to give it 4 statuses. Technical error, for example, like I discussed, a scanner or software problem. A procedural error. Do you know what? We made a procedural error in the dispensary. We scanned it more than once. That's why this happened. Pack returned would only ever be ticked if you have actually been requested to return a pack by the MAH as part of an alert investigation, or other. And we would say, for example, if you simply don't know the root cause of the alert, click on the other box. So technical, procedural, or other are the 3 types of investigation that you can carry out. And then if you've changed it at all, so you've attempted to establish some aspect of what has gone on or generated this alert, you click on the investigated button. And what that does is changes the status from open here in the top right to investigated. And then you can just put in a little bit of free text to say there was a procedural error in the dispensary, pack was scanned more than once. If it was, like I said, that type of double decommission, you click save, and that's it. That is the root cause recorded for your investigation for a particular alert. The NMVO, so we also have a piece of that page where you can scroll down and see it. And we will mark alerts as closed in the NMVS, when in NMVS alerts, when we know the root cause. So very often you could click in and you could actually see that the NMVO has already been in and closed the alert. Likewise, the MAH could be in a position to understand why it happened, and they're in a position to close the alert. And if that happens, that means if it's closed, there's no further action for you to take. One thing to note is if we do go in and close it, we would expect that you would also get an email from NMVS alerts to say, we have closed that alert. And that's another guide to assist you in understanding that the root cause has been identified by someone else. And as a result, there's no requirement for you to take any action. And go back to the unlicensed medications that we spoke about earlier. We would regularly go in ourselves and close alerts associated with ULMs in order to basically stop the pharmacy having to go in and manage that alert. They can just click in and see that it's been closed already. And as a result, they don't have to take any further action. Likewise, the MAH, they can do their own investigation and they can add their comment, which can assist you in establishing or identifying your own root cause if the MAH has any information to add to assist in identifying the root cause. So just one last bit associated with NMVS alerts, and this goes back to when we're trying to establish, was a pack decommissioned in my own location or was it decommissioned already in someone else's location? So like I said, when you look at those alert details, you can see here, this is your location ID. Where you see PLU location ID, so this is the location where the pack was previously decommissioned. So if this pack already dispensed code, so if this error occurred as a result of a procedural error in your dispensary, we would expect to see that these two location IDs as being the same. And that would assist you in going, do you know what? We've made some form of error here in the dispensary. Let's have a think back or track back our steps to establish what happened. If these are different, then what that does is that allows you recognize very quickly, without having to conduct any form of other or any further investigation, that, you know what, this pack has been decommissioned somewhere else. So obviously you won't know what that location ID reflects, but it might trigger the fact that you borrowed this pack. So can we just check with the people that we borrowed it from that they might have decommissioned it? Or it might simply go, well, we don't know, which means this could be, like I said, some issue associated with a wholesaler error. And as a result, we're going to need to put into NMVS alerts that we're going to click other. We don't know why this happened. And we're going to say, we know this was decommissioned twice, but we don't know where it was decommissioned the other time, the first time, in terms of where it was previously decommissioned. So finally, just to turn to a couple of other issues that are just worthy of bringing to your attention. Several pharmacies and hospitals have experienced issues accessing our alert help pages that I explained. When Internet Explorer is the web browser, Internet Explorer is no longer a supported browser by Microsoft. And very simply, if you just use Chrome, Microsoft Edge, or Firefox, or another more modern browser, there should be no problem there. Can I return packs with alerts to the wholesaler? HPRA has said no, that alerts generated must not be returned by pharmacies, or sorry, the packs that have generated alerts must not be returned to pharmacies, to wholesalers, while the investigation is ongoing, as those packs, if they were falsified, could be put back into the supply chain. And that applies even if you have ruled out a technical or procedural error on your part. If your investigation and that of the MAH have ruled out all obvious root causes for the alert, the MAH may request the pack be returned to them for further investigation. If the MAH does that, they'll tell you how to do that. If they request the pack to be sent back via wholesaler, it shouldn't go back as a standard business return, as it must be processed as the product quality complaint by the wholesaler, which is a separate process. But the bottom line is, if there is a doubt about a pack and an MAH wants it back, they will talk to you potentially through us or using an MVS alerts in order to get the message back to you as to how that process will be handled. Should you report alerts to the HPRA? Again, the answer is no. Alerts shouldn't be reported by pharmacies or hospitals to the HPRA as suspected quality defects. If a pack is found to be a confirmed falsification after the investigation is complete, the MAH are the people responsible for notifying the HPRA of a confirmed falsification. However, it is important at all times that you are checking your anti-tampering device. And even if the barcode scan has been successful, if you have reason to believe that the packaging has been interfered with based on your examination of the ATD, you must report that concern to the HPRA as a suspected quality defect via the usual reporting mechanism and not supply that pack. And there is a link that you'll see in the slide, which we will circulate, as to how those reports would be submitted to the HPRA. So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Leonie, who's going to very quickly wrap up.
Thanks, Colin. So just really to summarize, I suppose some takeaways for you is, if your scanner and software are working as they should, and you take care to avoid double decommission and other procedural alerts issues, you'll actually get very few alerts. And you'll have seen that most pharmacies actually get none or only one alert per month, which is very encouraging. If you do get a level 5 alert, a few quick steps will help you find out if there's a root cause at your end. If you find a problem with your scanner or your software and you're able to fix it, the pack may be supplied once you're able to verify the pack again. If you find a procedural error, such as the double decommission, so you know you've accidentally scanned the pack twice, as Colin mentioned, you can go ahead and supply that pack. However, we would probably recommend that you document what you've done, because you've no other evidence that that pack was, good to go, other than what you might record in NMBS alerts. For with the scanner issue, if you've re-verified that proves that the pack was fine. If there's a data issue, so there's missing MAH data, then we'll pick it up, with the MAH will pick it up pretty quickly. And our priority is to make sure that data is uploaded. And we'll let you know when that's happened via NMBS alerts. You can scan the pack again. But again, keep in mind, these alerts are very few and far between, which is great. Like, we're looking at an alert rate now of about 0.05%. And it's one transaction in every 2,000 is causing an alert. So it's very low. And just to remind you then, we're available if you need support at any time. We do have extended opening hours. So our help desk, so email and phone, is available 8 to 8, Monday to Friday, 9 to 6 on Saturday, and 11 to 6 on Sundays and public holidays. Now, we find there's very little need for it outside standard business hours, but it is there if you get stuck. And I suppose the one little proviso I would put on, if we need to contact someone else to get information, it realistically will take until the next business day to do that. Next slide, please. Okay, so we've just given you some contacts there, including email addresses. So basically anything to do with the nurse, just alert.supportimbo.ie, anything else, just info. We've given you our phone number there. So if you have any queries about your account, or you seem to have lost your connection to the IMBS, just give us a quick call and we'll get that sorted out for you. We've then given you some other websites, HPRA, we'll actually give you the PSI website as well there from our centre slides. And I think that's it then. So we're on to questions and answers, and I'm just looking in the chat here and I don't see the Q&A and I don't see any questions. If you have any questions, you want to pop them into the Q&A, or if you want to just come off mute, and we can unmute you and you can ask the question in person. So whatever suits, we're very happy to take any questions you have.